Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kayfabe Today podcast. My name is Eric. You can follow me on Twitter at MTOBroski. And I'm here, and I'm joined by somebody. No more lonely podcasts for me. I'm joined once again this week. He was so good last week. I had him back on this week. Travis from the FTitM YouTube channel. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, man, thanks for having me back 2 weeks in a row. I feel like I've won up the UK show at least because they only get a one-off special. I am back full force 2 weeks in a row. Man, thank you for asking me to have me back.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anytime I need someone, you're my go-to guy. I'm like, I need a guest. Travis.
Likewise.
That's what I go to. Because you're reliable, and when you say you're going to show up, you're going to show up. Drew. Throwing shit. That's right. Today was supposed to be Drew's grand return to the podcast, but I don't know. He just didn't show up yesterday. I mean, in his defense, I was asleep when we were supposed to record. So it's not like we would have recorded anyway. But, you know, shit happens. But, you know, we're not going to live in the past because there's a bunch of things that happened this week in the world of, well, I can't say the W word because we're on YouTube. But fuck it, I'm a rebel. In the world of wrestling.
Sports entertainment.
Sports entertainment, that's right. We're always very sports entertained when we watch WWE programming. And case in point, Money in the Bank was last Sunday, Travis.
It was.
It was a very up and down pay-per-view. We'll get into that. So we had the kickoff match here that I didn't watch. Did you watch it?
I did not because I could give two shits about any pre-show. The only reason I call it the Mania pre-show this year is because I wanted to see the Aries and Neville match, but usually I take a pass on any pre-show.
Yeah, I don't really watch the pre-shows ever either. Anyway, the Hype Bros defeated the Clones. Everybody was on the edge of their seat for that one. And then we had the clusterfuck of all clusterfucks, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And my God, do people have opinions? Jesus.
Apparently they do. I'll tell you know what? Shout out to WWE for making me get a legit gut belly laugh 8 minutes into the pay-per-view. I was in tears from laughter at the finish. I really was.
I loved the finish. I fucking loved it. And the reason why I loved it is because minutes before it happened, I saw on my timeline a bunch of people saying, if Ellsworth gets involved, I'm going to be so fucking pissed. And one dude went so far as he fucking called it. Like, he called the fucking finish. He's like, if Ellsworth grabs that briefcase and throws it to Carmella, I'm fucking done. And like 2 minutes later, that's exactly what happens. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I fucking, for one, dude, I loved the finish. Okay, I'm so sick and tired of this. Every time the women do something for the first time, everybody on Twitter expects a teary, cheerful celebration at the end. Fuck that. That's not real life. You know what real life is? Disappointment. Disappointment is real life. And this match was fucking perfect. I love the finish. I love the fact that Ellsworth climbed up the ladder, grabbed the briefcase, and tossed it to Carmella. And here's why I like it. Because it pissed people off. It pissed people off big time. And that's fucking wrestling. She's a heel. What is she supposed to do? People always complain. Oh, nobody acts like a heel anymore. And then when we get somebody who acts like a fucking heel, they go nuts.
Case in point of that, broski. And, you know, bring up our favorite person, Izzy's mom. Remember back when Sasha gave Izzy heel heat and they complained to WWE? And they made Sasha apologize?
Dude, did they make her apologize? Because that was one of the greatest moments I've ever seen in wrestling.
Dude, everyone was so up in arms that Sasha did that. I'm like, you can't have it both fucking ways, people.
Like when she took the bow off her head? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
and
on
then
that
mocked her?
show. I think it was for the Iron Woman match.
Yeah, that's it. I fucking, dude, you could probably hear my smile. I fucking loved when she did that. That's what made me a Sasha Banks fan. And that's the Sasha Banks I miss. Dude, she made a little girl cry. I should be a fan of hers for the rest of my life, but unfortunately, things didn't turn out that way.
Nobody gave a shit about 7-year-old Travis in 1991 when Jake the Snake bit Randy Savage, and I was a fucking mess. Nobody cared about me.
Yeah, nobody cared about.
We gotta go fucking get the pitchforks for Izzy.
I'm glad you fucking brought that up. That shit was scary.
Oh my God, because it was an actual fucking snake.
And it really
wasn't a toy.
And it bit him. Like, legit bit him.
No fucks given to what our young eyes saw. Oh, goddamn, put a real snake out there. Fuck the kids. They'll get over it.
Right? And we're fine. We're reasonably well-adjusted human beings.
Dude, I'm so glad you brought up every time the women do a Hell in a Cell, a first ever, because I went into it, I feel like, a million times this week. But I didn't say it on your show, so I'm going to give my 2 cents on that real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
The thing that really bugs me, that's great. I'm all about milestones, man. But the thing that irks me is next stop main event WrestleMania. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. And I don't want to be that fucking wet blanket already, that guy. WWE doesn't take their women's division seriously enough to have a money match on their biggest fucking show. They went out and got Goldberg last year because they were that desperate to put asses in the seats. You think it's going to be Charlotte and Sasha main event? It's not going to happen.
That's the thing, too. That's the main thing, is who has the name to main event your biggest show of the year in the women's division? Nobody.
Not even Trish Stratus coming back would validate a main event at WrestleMania, in my opinion.
No.
And that's the biggest name they could pull. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, who else could they bring back that would be even close? No one. I think Trish would be your best shot at a main event, and even then, you can easily find something on the men's side that'd be more compelling, that would sell more tickets.
Let me do the flip side of that. I'd be all about it. I don't want to come off like I'd hate it. I would like it. The problem is, it's too little too late for WWE. They have neglected their women's division. Dude, I've been studying up for the next episode of Union Smack. Shout out to Union Smack. I'm watching the very first No Mercy pay-per-view, right, from '99 in the UK. Their women's division at the time, their women's champion was Deborah, defending against fucking Sable. That's what happens when you do that for years, and you find yourself in a rut. Why aren't they taking them serious? Well, yeah.
It's going to take time. You can't expect to flip the switch one day, and you decided one day that you were going from diva back to women. Yep. And you expected everybody to just flip the same switch, but that switch is going to take time.
It's going to take longer than it's only been since I feel like WrestleMania 32. That the women's revolution bullshit started in the summer of 2015, but when they unveiled the new women's title at 32, it seems like that's when they were like buckling down. All right, we're going to do it serious now. It's going to take more than a year and a half. You got to put time into it, you know.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I mean, don't get me wrong. It's cool that they're letting the women have different types of matches, the ones that they haven't traditionally been doing before. But I hate to be that guy, but most of these firsts haven't been very good. And this Money in the Bank match wasn't good at all. Like, at all. Like,
I think we're both in total agreement. Like, we didn't mind the finish at all. We actually loved it.
That was the best part.
But the problem was the match had absolutely no meat.
It had one fucking high spot, dude. Charlotte's flip off the top rope to the outside.
The one high spot in a ladder match with multiple women, and it wasn't it with a ladder on the high spot.
Exactly.
Logic.
It doesn't. I don't know. The match. I was like, and you can, if you guys don't believe me, go back and listen to last week's show. I was excited for this. I was looking forward to it. I was anxious to see how Charlotte was going to kill herself in this match, because I thought for sure she would, but not even. When
they signed the match, I literally pictured her corkscrew moonsault in my head off the top of the ladder, because I figured that was a lock. That was happening, but apparently fuck me.
And it's not that I was expecting these things to happen, and it's not that I wanted anybody to get hurt, but I expected them to go out and perform at a level that...
Spectacle.
Yeah, exactly. To give us a show, to give us something to be like, oh, shit, that was sick, you know, but there was never really that moment. And the one moment that they did give us was something that we've seen time and time again that had nothing to do with the ladder, which was the main like stipulation in this match. There was ladders in it. Use them.
We also failed to mention, I correct myself. I got 2 gut laughs out of this. The very beginning of the match. All we heard for how long, Brewski, is there's going to be a mystery woman, right? Nothing. And I thought it was so funny, because that's another thing that got me. Then I brought this up on my show earlier this week. Everybody was so offended, right, that James Ellsworth, a man, climbed the ladder, correct, Broski?
Right.
But these people could give 2 shits about any of the women in this match. All they cared about was a mystery woman all week. So don't act like you were invested in Natalya winning the match. You didn't give a fuck about her.
No, and the funny thing is, and I think this will be the last thing we say about this before we get accused of being raging misogynists, but the same people who got so angry that James Ellsworth picked up the briefcase and tossed it to Carmella wouldn't bat a fucking eyelash if, God, there's no female managers left, if one of the lady managers that would exist that unfortunately don't anymore.
If it was Maria.
There you go. If it was Maria grabbing the briefcase and tossing it to Mike Bennett, they wouldn't say a fucking thing.
You know, and a lot of people forget in the tag team title, one of the most glorious, and it was an amazing match at WrestleMania X7, the TLC match. Edge was actually on the shoulders of Rhino for the finish. Rhino helped lift Edge up to win the match. People forget.
That's true.
Nobody talks about that.
Nope.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And you know what? The Snowflakes got their wish. We're getting the rematch next week, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. We'll definitely. I'm glad you put it that way too. The Snowflakes definitely got what they want. WWE pandering to their fucking SJW Twitter fucking audience. Up next, we have the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match of Kofi Kingston and Big E of the New Day defeating the Usos, but via countout, where the Usos just said, you know what, fuck this. We got better things to do, Oos, and they just pieced out, leading to the countout. The New Day are your champions. The New Day are the winners, but your champions are still the Usos. Decent match. Hated the finish. Hated it. It makes sense. Doesn't, well, actually, okay, hated was a bit strong. I would have liked a definitive win, you know, like a pinfall or a submission, but I get why they did this. And it makes sense. They are heels, so if somebody's going to just walk out on a match, it should be them.
Yeah, I got the finish. I just think the finish should have happened on a free episode type thing instead of like
a SmackDown.
You could for a show like this that most people are paying for, you want to do a heel finish that's like cheating, not just walking out like using a weapon or roll the tights.
Yeah,
or something.
I can agree with that.
At least get some kind of fall. I like to see on a pay-per-view. But you know what? I can't hate on the finish when we just got done bitching about Carmella being a heel and people bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So, that's why I'm not letting myself get too carried away here.
I'll say the match though. Hashtag slop fest. A little sloppy.
Yeah, it was a little sloppy, but you know what? I miss the New Day, so I'm glad that they're back, and I like seeing them do their thing, and I love the fucking Usos, so I kind of, when you really like two teams, you just kind of overlook that shit, and just like, yeah, it was a decent enough match.
And you're exactly right. You've been calling it, cool the New Day off, give them a break. When they come back, they'll feel fresher. And I'm not saying they feel completely fresh, but it's nice to see them back as opposed to every week. And I did like the free fall spot from Kofi a lot. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, and he really commits to it as well.
He does.
Like, he's fucking, he's on the cross. He's fucking commits. It's good. I like it. Next, we had the SmackDown Women's Championship match in a surprisingly decent match. I thought Lana held up her side of the bargain, and so did Naomi. Naomi defeated Lana and retains her Women's Championship. I don't have too much to say. I thought Lana was better than she would be. I like her ring attire a lot.
Agreed.
She looks pretty damn good in it.
I thought logically, I booked it in my head before she even came out. I was like, all right, because Shane McMahon had his tweets come out. They kept showing the tweets through the show until this match about Carmella, right? There's going to be repercussions on Tuesday. A smart heel would have just cashed it in already and said, fuck it. It's too late. But, it's whatever. A lot of people forget Lana's been working NXT house shows for 2 years. It's not her first match, people.
No, it's definitely not. And she had it wasn't a 10-woman match, but she did have a WrestleMania Mania match.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Lana, a pretty damn good match. I like her finisher. It looks cool. Like the sit-down kind of powerbomb thing that she does. It's decent. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So up next, we have a WWE Championship match between Jinder Mahal, who defeated Randy Orton. What do you think of this one?
You know what? I'm not going to lie. I really enjoyed this match. You know what? We may have disagreements of opinions finally and stuff. I'm not hating Jinder's run, man. I'm not.
No, I love Jinder's run.
All we've ever heard since fucking CM Punk left is everything feels stale and not fresh. Well, they give you guys something fresh, and all you do is complain up and down because it's not one of your indie darlings they picked. Before we get to the match, I'm sure you saw Jinder come out on Twitter last week at all his haters about the steroid accusations.
Yeah, I saw like an Instagram post too.
Something a lot of people, guys, if that's what's, is derailing this for you, like you're not giving a chance, I can't support a steroid abuser, then don't watch wrestling.
Don't watch wrestling, don't watch baseball, don't watch football, just sit in your house and don't do anything.
I was going to say don't watch wrestling like pre-2000 and fucking whatever, but I was going to say don't watch wrestling ever. I had to correct myself. Yeah, like that, what an asinine reason not to fucking... To even give an angle a chance, I guess.
Well, the thing is the way I see it is it's absolutely ridiculous to not like someone because they're doing something that only harms their own body. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't like someone because they smoke weed or something, what does it change in your fucking life? Like, I can understand you don't want to be around it. That's fine. But to not like someone and to, attack someone like Jinder Mahal because you think he might be on steroids.
And that's the thing. Like, to judge someone in real life because, you know, their choices, addictions, whatever, drugs, that's fine. But they're not, you know, they're not an entertainer. This is like you don't give a fuck. I love Star Wars, and unfortunately, we saw the drug cocktail in Carrie Fisher's system. That would have never derailed me from seeing a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm not going to think any less of Carrie Fisher because she, you know, she died with a fucking cocktail of drugs in her system. Fuck
By the way, holy shit, Carrie Fisher, Jesus. Yeah, but I enjoyed the match. God, the Singh brothers, they better get a little bit of pay raise for all the bumps they're taking like that. That is so unsafe.
Randy doesn't give a fuck about them. He just tosses them like they're nothing. It's fucking hilarious.
And I think that's the thing. People misreading that, telling Randy to be unsafe. A lot of people forget the Bollywood boys are lifelong fans.
Yeah,
it's documented. Like, they're probably all about taking these spots. You know, like, yes, Mr. Orton, please give me another. Like, they're just happy to fucking be there. You know.
Yeah, they're like an Apollo Crews, but with like a purpose in life. They're just happy to be there, but they're there to take bumps.
But yeah, the only thing I didn't like in the match, well, obviously, just his gender hitting his finish like that. Like, hey, welcome back to the ring. There's my finish. That was dumb. And all the legends around Bob Orton, and that not one could help him. Like, but
I loved it. I loved it when I
thought the crowd was invested in the match. I was surprised.
It's
obviously because Randy was a hometown guy, but I don't know. I think the crowd would have been invested either way.
Well, it's the most animated I've seen Orton in quite some time. Like, he's a very, you know, autopilot type of guy, but he seemed phoning it in exactly. But he seemed to be on his game last Sunday. And
what did you think of the match?
I thought it was a fun match. I like you. I wasn't a big fan of the finish. Felt it came too out of nowhere. But one part I liked when the Singh brothers went over to the Legends, and all the old dudes were talking shit. I was like, look at all these sassy old men. Like, look at them talk shit. I loved it. And then, like, Bob Orton gets attacked and no one does fuck all. I thought that was great.
Say what you want. Baron Von Raschke got a bigger pop than any woman in the Money in the Bank match.
He definitely
He really did. I'm not even making that up.
Definitely, no, he really, really did. Don't believe him? Go back and watch it on the WWE Network for $9.99.
Hey, and Greg Gagne got his day in the sun. Shout out to Greg Gagne.
Yeah, you got to give the good old Gagne boys, got to give them a day in the spotlight.
As a match, though, man, I'd give it 7.5.
Yeah, it was.
And that's probably generous.
Yeah, I mean, for a pay-per-view match, it was a little bit lacking. If this was on TV, it would be perfectly fine. But, you know, the interaction with the Legends, the Singh boys being involved, which I like, Jinder kind of winning like a heel again and beating Randy Orton in his hometown gets him that extra heat. So I like it. I mean, I can't hate the outcome. Not a big fan of how we got there, but overall, I thought it was a decent match.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like, you know, cheap plug again. We talk about my co-host Michael on Slam Pigs. It's his thing with not getting behind this is not the steroid thing. It's how they how they booked it. Like, you can't just fucking take a heel and have him win overnight and he's a champion. With the heel, you got to kind of stretch that out more for credibility. You can do that with a babyface because what this is doing, if you noticed, Jinder isn't exactly getting negative reactions. He has fans, guys, in the crowds because they've booked it like an underdog story, and that's the last thing you want to do if you want to make a heel is make him an underdog because everyone wants to get behind the underdog.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But it is what it is. It could be much worse. We've seen worse as far as title runs, but I haven't fallen off yet. I'm enjoying it for what it is because I was open-minded to it. A lot of people weren't that way, unfortunately.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. And, I mean, the guy, at least he looks like a champion. He looks fucking like he's chiseled out of granite. So,
like, if I pictured in my head of a Punjab Indian WWF champion, he would probably be what I would see in my head. Or at least a villain in Punch-Out. Something.
Hit him in the turban. That's his weak spot.
Yeah. But, yeah, the match was
Then we had a filler match between Breezango, who defeated the Ascension. I love Breezango, but I mean,
I do too. But
dude, talk about letdowns of letdowns when they're like, we're gonna tell you who like attacked us, and then they come out and it's like it's the Ascension, and you're just like, oh fuck.
For literally like 2.8 seconds, I was like, all right, they're gonna put something into the Ascension. But then I realized like, no, they're just going out there to job.
Yeah, they needed a buffer match between the championship and the Money in the Bank ladder match, so. This was that match. Nothing too special.
Nothing to it. Yeah, nothing.
It was obviously there just to kill time. And then finally our main event, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, where Baron Corbin became Mr. Money in the Bank, which I believe we all called last week.
Yeah, everybody's batting 1,000 on that prediction. I have not had anyone on a guest on my show or your show that didn't predict Corbin.
Yeah, I guess it was pretty obvious, you know. But it was good. Oh wait, did they debut did Maria and Mike Bennett?
They did, yes.
Okay,
they
yeah.
did. I was actually like making a sandwich and I heard this huge pop in my living room. I was like, what the fuck's going on? I ran in and there's Mike Kanellis.
That's fucking funny. I think
Yeah,
that's fucking funny. The emasculation of Mike Bennett.
Yeah, what a slap in the fucking dick that is to Mike Bennett.
Well, she is the bigger name. Let's be
She
honest.
is. Could be another guy. He's just happy to be there. He doesn't give a fuck.
Well, I guess we could talk about this now since we're talking about Maria and Mike. Did you hear that the Miz and Maurice might be splitting up because they're too similar to Maria and Mike Bennett?
That makes even less sense than splitting up Enzo and Cass. What a ridiculous thing to even conjure.
Isn't that dumb? That's why the rumor going around is that's why Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas are kind of like aligned with the Miz now because he's separating from Maurice.
Wow.
They're not even on the same brand.
Jesus Christ. Are we shocked that that's the logic they're taking, though, Eric, really?
I guess I shouldn't be.
I mean, come on. Jesus Christ. Maurice and The Miz are married in real life, but a lot of wrestlers in the past, I'm going to drop some old school on your listeners. Jimmy Garvin and his actual wife, Precious. You remember back in the 80s?
I do.
They had no fucking chemistry on screen, and they were actually married. His Kayfabe girlfriend, Sunshine and World Class, had tremendous chemistry, so that was a weird case. Now, Miz and Maurice are actually married. They're peanut butter and jelly. Why would you even consider doing that? Like, I don't get it. They add so much to each other.
Especially that they're not on the same brand. They're on Raw. One's on Raw and one's on SmackDown. So even if they are too similar, what's the difference? So what?
And it's not like Kanellis and Mike are baby faces. Like, I don't get it, man. Wow. No, that's news to me. I didn't know they were debating doing. Like, I've seen it on Raw lately with the grandfather clocks, but I thought maybe when they formed I guess it's a stable now that it would just blow over. But wow, I guess they're really going to do it.
I hope that they call themselves the Marines since they were all in the Marine.
You've really been just saving that up all show to just get that in, haven't you?
I just thought that up right now. Off the cuff, baby. That's how we roll here on the show.
I kept letting your out of nowhere. You trying to throw me a bone with the out of nowhere references go. But couldn't let that one
go. But the Money in the Bank match, my biggest takeaway from it was, Jesus Christ, what the whose cereal did Kevin Owens shit in? Because he took all kinds of awful bumps.
Is that a bad thing, though? Because if you remember anything out of this match, it was his sick bumps. So looking back, that's probably a nod to him.
Yeah,
maybe that
definitely.
was booked that way for him.
Could be.
I don't know.
Maybe because you can take it.
I tell you what, I didn't really like this match, and a lot of people were surprised I say that.
Really? I thought it was decent. I thought it maybe because the women's one was so bad, this one was just, this one brought it back for me. But I thought it was pretty good. I thought Zayn looked pretty good in the match as well.
I don't think it was like the spots of the match I did. Like, they were fine. Everything about the structure and, it was just the obvious finish, we all call Corbin. I didn't want Nakamura even anywhere near this match. So the fact that he was even in it, I was already salty going in.
I didn't really.
So maybe I didn't give it a chance. You know what I mean?
I don't like. I didn't mind him that much in the match, and I kind of like what they did at the beginning with Corbin attacking him when he was making his entrance. I thought that was cool.
That was nice.
That was the best part of the match. Him coming back and then fucking acting like nothing happened, that kind of bothered me, but that's kind of getting into nitpicking territory, I guess, because, that's WWE, and that
didn't bother me because they did that in one of them. I think it was Flair in a Money in the Bank. He came back because he got hurt. I think it was at WrestleMania 22. And the second Money in the Bank, Rob Van Dam won. Ric Flair got hurt and left, and he came back. The only reason I didn't like it here is they hit his theme music. Like, how hokey is that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like he went through.
I'm not going out there, guys, until you hit my fucking music. That's just how it's gonna be.
He was standing there for 5 minutes, and he was like, I'm not going out. Play my music. I want to do my hand thing that everybody likes.
Don't you know who I am? Yeah, he's not good.
He'd be good with a Paul Heyman.
Oh yeah, I think a Tommy better probably with a Heyman, especially as a heel now.
Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, I thought this match was, we could see the outcome coming from a mile away, but Kevin Owens bumps, Sami Zayn looking very strong, AJ Styles looking strong, and we got a small preview. That was cool. We got a small preview of Styles and Nakamura in WWE. I popped for that. I like that.
I think we're getting that at Mania.
Oh God, that would be fucking sick.
I think they know how well that went over on Wrestle Kingdom when those two wrestled
Yeah.
on a platform that big, and I think they're going to save it.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
They need to.
But yeah, that was Money in the Bank. Overall, started off really slow, kind of picked up towards the end. So yeah, I mean, I guess overall you can't complain. Wasn't a great pay-per-view. The women's ladder match was disappointing to say the least. But I mean, overall, I felt we got a pretty good pay-per-view.
I think the women's match, kicking it off with that was fine because you got to spread out your ladder matches obviously on a card.
Yeah.
That just kicked off the night in such a bad way. I gave this show like a C-, I think, on our post show this week.
It made me so angry. Like the first match made me so angry. I just started making the most sexist jokes I could think of.
I know. I was enjoying your tweets at the time way more than the tag team title match.
I was so salty, dude. I was like, "Fuck this match! I'm gonna ruin it for everybody else."
my favorite was like your just attack on vegan general manager Daniel Bryan. That was my favorite part of the night.
Oh, fuck him. It's fucking.
Was he drunk this week?
I don't know. But like I mentioned before the show, I thought Raw was better than SmackDown, which is something no one ever says. But we'll get to that. But before we get to Monday Night Raw, here, check out an ad from the Shining Wizards.
If you're not tuned in to the Shining Wizards, listen to what some of our fans have to say about the show.
Hey guys, it's the Stallion. And when I'm contemplating suicide, I throw on the Shining Wizards because nothing makes me feel better than knowing I'm not one of these 4 grown adults, virgin fucking marks, discussing a fake wrestling product.
Tune in live every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. East, rantemradio.com. It's the Shining Wizards, where it's wrestling talk and talk about wrestling.
And we are back with our Monday Night Raw review / recap / bit session, whatever you want to call it. I'm here with Travis from the Hibiki TMD YouTube channel. Go check him out. Hit that subscribe button and check out all of his podcasts. Travis, what podcasts am I talking about? I promise one day I'll have you on and I'll know every one of your shows. But
I just noticed like we were having such a good time talking about Money in the Bank. I didn't even plug myself because we just go full force. You can catch me on Twitter at the Hibiki TMD. Check out Hibiki TMD on YouTube. Check out the Reset Button podcast, our retro gaming podcast. If you're into current news and gaming, also we just covered E3 and stuff. Also check out Slam Pigs podcast with myself and Michael talking about everything Raw and SmackDown reviews, just like here on Kayfabe today. And Slam Pigs Cruise Control, our 205 show. If you're into 205, like 3 of you probably are, and our biggest success show the last month, Slam Pigs Union Smack, our UK exclusive show with myself and Maniac Matt Tennant, our UK correspondent, covering everything. Lately, we've been on a retro kick broski, waiting for the UK show to kick in. We're going to take a look at No Mercy 99 this week, so stay tuned for that. I think that's all I got. Oh, yeah, I'm also in Grapple Vision sometimes. We're going to record the next one sometimes, but... And Broski is on Slam Pigs Extra NXT TakeOver post shows. I feel like it takes me 20 minutes at this point to plug everything, but that's it. That's all I got.
I'm a big fan of your podcast with Maniac Matt, especially when now that you're doing like the old school pay-per-view reviews.
They're a blast. I enjoy it.
I hate not to invite myself on your show because I hate it when people do it to me, but I want to come on to that one.
Oh, we'd love to have you.
The next time, next pay-per-view.
If you don't mind, the next one after this, we're taking a break because honestly, it's like we're cursed. I don't know if your listeners remember Tiger Ali Singh. He's been on like every one of these retro pay-per-views. So we're gonna do something. We're gonna go back and watch the first WCW Nitro if you want to be on for that one and review that.
Oh shit, yeah.
It's only an hour, so.
Hell yeah, I'll do that. Just let me know when I have to watch it by, and I'll get her done.
Beautiful. Love to have you.
So go check out the Hibiki TMD on YouTube. Link is down in the description, as well as a link to Travis's Twitter. I have to remember to do it this week. And now, for your official Raw results. The Hardys defeated Anderson and Gallows at 10:35 via pinfall. Finn Balor defeated Bo Dallas at 4 minutes and 15 seconds via pinfall. Akira Tozawa defeated TJP at 10 minutes 40 seconds via pinfall. And we'll come back to this, but I actually really like this match. Samoa Joe defeated Roman Reigns, another really good match, at 18 minutes and 10 seconds via submission, which I really liked. And then a non-title match between champion Sheamus and Cesaro, who defeated Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews at 4 minutes and 15 seconds. And finally, Nia Jax defeated Sasha Banks at 1 minute and 12 seconds via disqualification.
Yep.
All right, so we started the night off with a Roman Reigns promo, and he had a big announcement, which is
Ratings up this week, by the way, due to the big dog, apparently.
Really?
The ratings were actually up. They did actually shout out to them for promoting something. Roman's appearance we heard about all week, what his announcement was going to be. So that, say what you want, guys. Well, numbers don't lie.
They do not. Now, Roman's big announcement is that he doesn't care who wins at Great Balls of Fire, and he declares himself the #1 contender at SummerSlam because the internet really needed another one. The internet really needed another comparison to John Cena. Like, it's like they're trying to fucking... They're just like, here, Roman, here's another obstacle. Get over this. It's... I don't know. It just makes me laugh, man. Every time that you think he's going to get a break, you just fucking... No. Just declare yourself #1 contender. People will love that.
It's so see-through what they're doing, but it may come off ranty, and I won't get into it. But they're totally copying the... God.
No, go for it.
A lot of people can say that they're not knowing that Cena should be a heel for years. The 12 years plus we've had with Cena, they've gotten nothing but Rock and Cena did tons of money for them. John Cena is a proven moneymaker because of that 50-50 heat. That was a lot of John Cena's fucking gimmick. At the end of the day, that's what got, like, if they would have turned him heel, I don't think we would have gotten as many big money matches towards the end. And I think they're trying to just copy that. The thing is, it was organic, completely 100% organic. That 50-50, let's go Cena sucks. It was kind of with Roman. The difference is Roman has more than 5 fucking moves. I feel like it's a lot easier to get on Cena's ass as opposed to Roman. For me, it's easier to like Roman. That's just me. They're trying to replicate it, and they're gonna find themselves in a rut where you can't always replicate shit that's just so organic. And this one, it's not the same guy. It's not the same fans. It's a different time now. It's not 2006 when it was just garbage. Like, now we have guys in the ring that can go. We have the meat there. It's just how they're going to book it. I don't think fans are really looking forward to another year of a tweener on top. It got tiresome too. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't.
But another thing that Cena didn't have in 2006 was all these internet darlings going for that same title.
Exactly.
So now that you have guys like Styles, Nakamura, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, all these guys that came from the indies who had huge followings before coming to WWE, now you just have a legion of their fans being pissed off that Roman is being put in that position instead of their guy. So you're stacking the deck even higher up against Roman Reigns. That's why it just makes me laugh.
People say what you want where, Roman doesn't sell nearly any of the merch Cena ever did. I've gone, you've gone to a house show. Guys, there's a lot of Roman merch on grown adults, grown men that he does sell. It's just...
The last time I went to a show, and I'm sure it was the same experience for you, because we went reasonably close to each other, Roman Reigns got the loudest reaction, bar none. Like, and I was in Montreal where the main event was Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. So
yeah, logistically, guys.
Think about that.
That was totally the same in mind. But you're up in Montreal, and I'm down in Pennsylvania, and it was across the board the same big reaction. He is the most over guy in the company, whether people like to admit it or not.
Yeah, even though we're so far past the cheers and boos that as long as people are making noise, that's all that matters anymore. And the people,
and, I think the biggest disconnect, man, and you get it. I know you get it. But people, when I say over, people, accumulate that to a pop. No, over is. Yeah. Just people pissed off, happy, sad, crying with tears of joy. Just he gets this reaction like a Cena did. He's the closest thing we have to that Cena reaction now, basically.
Yeah,
but it's not the same level in my opinion.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's exactly what I was going to say. That noise equals over, silence equals failure, and as long as people are making noise when your music hits, you're doing something right. So I mean. To even try and begin to say that Roman Reigns isn't over is so absurd that I'm not even going to entertain that thought not even for a second, sir. Not even. This led to
the sake of this promo though. Yeah, it was really good. I really liked this promo from Roman.
Yeah,
he was cocky, he was a prick, and that's what he needs to be.
He wants something, and he's just going to take it. This led to Samoa Joe coming out, cutting a pretty damn good promo on his end as well. And then he did the same thing he did to Brock Lesnar, which I absolutely love, is like kind of that shoulder bump / headbutt that he started doing where he's just like, fuck you, fuck this, fuck talking, and he just nails you.
It was tremendous, and call me crazy, I thought Roman and Joe in this face-off was more intense than Brock and Joe, dare I say. I loved this, actually.
Yeah,
I think these guys have the potential to draw some serious money together, booked right.
Yeah, I completely agree. And this confrontation led to the match, which would be the main event for the evening of Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns. Then we had the Hardys versus Anderson and Gallows. Wasn't the worst. Wasn't the worst. Wasn't the greatest. I want Broken Matt. I'm getting bored. So.
I mean, they could book Honky Tonk Man right now. He looks like Broken Matt's dad. Have you seen him lately?
Yeah, I have. That's fucking funny. I mean, I felt like Anderson and Gallows were given too much. Like they put up more of a fight than they normally do. And is that how you really want to book this match when the Hardys are coming off like a kind of schmoz finish for the titles? I don't know. I didn't really understand the booking.
As much as I enjoy Gallows and Anderson, when I hate to see them be enhancement talent, sometimes it's okay. Not everybody can be tag champs. Sometimes that's what needs to happen, and they're established enough to. If someone beat them in 3 minutes, it'd be, oh man, they beat Gallows and Anderson in 3 minutes, or not. People just don't like Gallows. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I think people just don't care anymore at this point. Like they fucked them up something fierce.
They really did. Jesus.
Decent match. Then we had a Goldust promo, which I'm enjoying. Like his old school promos. Then we had the Drifter, who was there to play a song, but Finn Balor interrupts him. Thank fucking God. Which led to Finn Balor versus Bo Dallas, and I want to talk about Bo Dallas here. He looks like a savage homeless person. What the fuck happened? Where has he been?
That's exactly what happens when the creative doesn't have anything to do with you. You lose your mind in limbo.
Live in a fucking dumpster, apparently. There's really nothing much.
Jesus, man. Well, harsh on Bo. I mean, his family's going through some stuff.
Oh, I love Bo. Bo's a good guy. He just looks like a savage homeless person, that's all.
He does. Really.
I mean, nothing much to say here. It was a match. It was all right. Creative has no fucking clue what to do with Balor, and
they're trying to feud him with. I thought it was going to go Wyatt, but now Wyatt's with Rollins, and now they just have no. Are they waiting for Great Balls of Fire, and then he's going to have a program with Joe?
Yeah, that's what I have no idea. I don't know what they just have him in these meaningless fucking matches. It's disconcerting. Yeah. Then we got a trailer. Oh, sorry. Then Angle alert. Oh yeah, and then Corey Graves left commentary again, which we'll get to a little later on in the show. Then we got a WWE 2K18 trailer, and holy shit!
Yep,
it's fucking awesome. Best trailer they've ever done, and I really like the trailer from last year's game.
Yep, I said that last night on our live stream. Best trailer they ever fucking have done. This was fucking cool, tremendous. Man. Holy shit! This was better than anything on their current TV.
Rollins breaking into WWE headquarters. Well, no, sorry, WWE warehouses.
And the whole thing, I was like, wow, this is fucking awesome. And I was like, who could this be? And I figured it might be Rollins, but usually they pull out like a legend for this. So I was like, what guy could they have dug up to do all this? But no, it was Rollins. And that's how they need to make his character more like this no fucks given fucking, like, I don't know. It was awesome though.
Yeah, I thought this was like, the best trailer they've ever done for a game. Yeah, I thought it was fucking tremendous. It was awesome. Then Graves meets with Angle about Angle's quote-unquote situation, and he's upset that Enzo sent a tweet to Conor McGregor. Cass is pissed about the recent attacks, and Enzo thinks it is the Revival, but Cass thinks it's Big Show. They wrote Bog Show in this review. Fucking use spell check 411 Mania.
Most weeks it is a Bog Show, so fair. Fair play.
And then Angle then promises to find out who the attacker is by the end of the night. Seth Rollins comes out to, talk about the video game and then talk about mistakes he's made. And fucking God, such an awful, basically it boiled down to, I used to be bad. I'm not bad anymore. I'm on a video game cover. And then Wyatt comes out, says a bunch of stuff, but Jesus Christ, who cares?
Worst part of the show.
Yeah, I really don't. I don't fucking care about anything. It almost hurts me to say this, but I don't give a shit about anything Bray Wyatt does. At all. And Rollins at this point is, God, talk about a failed babyface.
I don't think it's failed yet, but it's well on its way. They need to cut back on the promos, man. They need to make him more like that trailer. Just this pop-in, drive-by, fuck up some heels guy. Like, I think that would get him over tenfold more than what they're doing with the microphone.
Maybe saying he was a failed babyface was a little bit harsh, but man, he in my
totally justified it, though.
In my view, like the way I see it, is he should be like right at the top. He should be one. Like, I mean, I guess the company thinks he is because I mean they don't put just anybody on the cover of their video game.
Right.
So I mean, the company is obviously behind Rollins, but you, like, if you just went off TV, it doesn't look like they're behind Rollins. Like in a feud with Bray Wyatt, that really I don't know why they just kind of started feuding after the Fatal 5-Way match, and I guess that's enough of a reason. Like I guess that's enough of a reason for. I'm just not invested in this at all.
Here's the problem with that. A lot of people, when they hear Triple H in like a shoot interview or whatever talk about developmental, they give him shit for this. He's not a believer in the everyone deserves a chance because they work hard. It's great that Finn Balor has worked hard in Japan for years in NXT, but when they brought him in, it totally fucked up Rollins' momentum as a possible top face in a way. So now both of those guys are stagnating because they clashed. They need, like I say it all the time, they need to be careful. This influx of guys, like they don't always need to bring in new guys after WrestleMania every year. Sometimes you can wait, and sometimes yes, Rollins should be the guy right now. You're right. He should be in that spot. You know what I mean? But they're gluttons. They can't help themselves. They love to stack their rosters when it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because if you just stack the roster with a bunch of guys, then nobody gets to like really stand out and shine. But I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see where they're going with Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt. But as of right now,
nobody cares.
Yeah, I'm not really into it at all. After the match, we go backstage now, and Balor is interviewed and says that he wants to win back the Universal Championship, and that's at this point when the Drifter comes and kicks the shit out of Balor, leading to an agent coming to see if he's okay. Then we had a Cruiserweight match, which is usually when I go to sleep, but it was between Akira Tozawa and TJP, and I thought this was pretty fucking good. I like these boys.
I'll make a recommendation real quick to you and your listeners, because I know you don't watch 205 Live. Go watch Rich Swann and Neville this week from 205 Live.
Yeah,
I know that doesn't sound like a barn burner match, but holy shit, dude!
Really?
Like, and yeah, a lot of people, you know, they take a pass. They don't even give 205 Live a chance. Guys, you're missing great matches on 205 Live. Like the last month, been tremendous. Not the booking, the show kind of, you know, but the matches, dude. Yeah.
Maybe I should, you know, give it a little bit of a chance. Again.
We could use a boost for numbers on our show. You want to be on as a guest if you do your homework and watch an episode.
I might have to do my homework this coming week. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what we can do. We'll have to see what we can do behind the scenes. Put that together. I think it can be done though.
No, this is a great match, though.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good, one of the better Cruiserweight matches that have been on Raw in quite some time. But especially the home stretch, the closing stretch of the match, Tozawa's kind of offensive run that he went on, I thought that was really good. Led to a good finish. And I like Tozawa. From the time that he debuted on Raw, I was like, I like this guy.
Have you seen a lot from Tozawa?
I have not.
What do you think about his chant, real quick?
People seem to enjoy it. Doesn't bother me.
Does it annoy you, or do you see it like getting over?
I see it getting over. I mean, it's the only time really that you hear any kind of reaction for the cruiserweights is pretty much when he does it. So it seems to be
a lot
working.
of people were kind of salty on the Titus brand stuff. I think it's okay for now because I see it being a case of Tozawa getting fed up and just kicking him in the head, and then when he gets serious, he's going to take the title from Neville. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I kind of like the Titus brand, to be honest. It's kind of goofy, and I enjoy it.
It's grown on me so much, and it really shouldn't have. But does that speak to where we're at in wrestling right now with storylines that the Titus brand is growing on us?
I think so. I think it is. It's a very troubling time.
Yeah.
Then we see Angle backstage talking with the Revival. We get an R-Truth promo, and he accepts Goldust's invitation for next week.
In 2017,
yes, sir.
We're getting an R-Truth promo, by the way. I just wanted to point that out.
Did you enjoy it?
No. Why would I? It's R-Truth in 2017. I didn't enjoy R-Truth in 2010. Why would I enjoy him 7 years later, WWE? Well, I don't get it. You're bringing in all these NXT guys, and then you're like, why aren't they getting over? Give them a vignette. You're going to put R-Truth out there get this, for an angle with Goldust. It's not for like The Miz, like a redemption R-Truth's final shot at glory. It's with Goldust. and you're wondering why Finn Balor isn't over. Fuck you, WWE. Holy shit. I'm done. I'm sorry.
That was great. I have nothing to add. You said everything that needed to be said.
Jesus Christ, broski. I mean, is my daughter booking the show behind my back? I don't know about, because she's going to be punished if I find out. That's what this feels like.
She'd probably do a better job.
Every time we play the games, my kids love Goldust and R-Truth and people like that. Fuck. I don't get it.
You're just sitting there fucking furious. Goldust again?
It's the middle of the day, and my window's open. I'm yelling about R-Truth. Thank you, WD. I'm probably going to have my neighbors look at me weird when I go outside later.
Beautiful Friday afternoon. This led to
afternoon delight.
This led to a backstage segment with Curtis Axel, who meets with Bo Dallas, and then The Miz arrives. He calls them losers and then offers them a spot in his entourage, which really seems like a weird sequence of events. You're a fucking loser. Join me, won't you?
Can we shout out Curtis Axel's hair? Holy shit.
Or what's left of it?
Shave it, dude.
Yeah, stop clinging. Stop making it wet and pulling it down. It's not flattering. We then have a interview with Samoa Joe backstage, and he says that Reigns should be worried about him. And then we get footage of Joe beating Reigns 4 months ago, and then Joe says Reigns should realize who he's dealing with, and tonight Reigns will leave a broken man, which led us to Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns. Damn. Good match. Damn good match.
I agree.
Top to bottom. And we'll just get to it right now. The match didn't finish because it was... Oh, did it finish? No, it didn't. Oh, yes, it did. But before it did, we had the return of the monster among men, Braun Strowman, which I loved how he returned, how he like hijacked an ambulance in a different city that he got admitted to the hospital to, and then came in and then just fucking... How great would it have been if they gimmicked the doors and he just instead of just like flying open, he fucking kicked them straight off the hinges. He was like, Braun! I loved it. I don't remember where I read it, but someone described it as Braun Strowman backed into the arena with an ambulance, kicked open the doors, said his own name, and made his way to the ring. And I was like, what a minimalistic way of putting it. It's just like, but that's exactly what happened. He literally backed in, opened the swung the ambulance doors open, then he screamed his name and made his way to the ring. And
to a hero's fucking welcome, by the way.
Yeah,
Pop
no
of the
kidding.
night.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people were fucking... I mean, I've missed him. I'm glad that he's back because he's so dominant. He's such a huge motherfucker. You know, so Samoa Joe took advantage of the distraction to lock in the Coquina clutch and made Roman Reigns submit. After the match, Braun Strowman beat the shit out of Roman Reigns to furious cheers from the fans. It was pretty crazy. And then he challenged him to, get this, an ambulance match.
Yeah.
What do you think of the ambulance match stipulation?
It's fine. If this is the blow-off, you know, if this is it, it needs a gimmick stipulation in a way. We haven't seen one of these in a while. My problem is, with Roman essentially putting himself in the title match now, they could go two ways with this. They could be the winner of this match gets the title shot, which is what they should do, honestly.
Yeah.
Or they're not, and it's kind of obvious that Roman's probably going to win then. What I would have done, Broski, I as much as I did like this, I would have saved Strowman until Great Balls of Fire. I would have had him cost Brock the title, and I would go Brock Strowman at SummerSlam, not for any title, just as like that attraction match. That's what I would have done.
Two big motherfuckers going at it. I'd be down with that.
I'd love to see that match.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But that's not... I don't think
I'm glad that Braun didn't pull a Shockmaster when he came out of the ambulance. Thank God, because he probably would have died.
He probably would have killed himself. Yeah, he would have killed himself. This led us to MITB. Miz is trying to, you know, get out of the doghouse with Maurice. You know, Ambrose comes out.
The grandfather clock, isn't that... It looks like they got it at the Goodwill. I think my dad's is nicer than that. They're supposed to have this Hollywood gimmick. You think they put a little money into that?
It did look pretty shitty. This is basically a repeat of what's been happening. You know, they come out and do a MITB. Ambrose interrupts, but this time the Bears were on the Miz's side, who turned out to be Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. So it looks like we're getting a little stable here, and it kind of adds some fuel to the fire. The rumors that, you know, the Miz and Maurice are actually going to split up. So we'll have to wait and see for that. Then we had a non-title match, the champion Sheamus and Cesaro versus Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews. Don't care. Really don't.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say?
The other worst part of Raw was this match because there's nothing to it.
Well, here's another shitty part. It was Cash Me Outside Girls, Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. Don't care. Don't
God,
care.
you know what? 3 hours in this show. And I think I tweeted you during the show or something. I was like, no women at all. Are they on strike from the Money in the Bank fiasco the night before?
I do remember that. Yeah. It was like Mick Foley when he walked out after the screw job.
But, if they're cooling off Sasha or Alexa, for a week, that's, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Keep her off TV, make people...
Don't overexpose her already.
Yeah. I mean, look what it did with Roman Reigns. So... and then the kind of main event, which I honestly think should have been, Angle should have been smart and hired the fashion police to solve. Would have been solved much quicker. But I digress. Angle comes out. He invites Enzo and Cass, the Revival, Big Show. Am I forgetting anybody? I think that's it.
No, that's it.
To the ring. He says that it wasn't the Big Show who attacked Enzo and Cass. Wasn't the Revival who attacked Enzo and Cass. And then this led to Cass having a mental breakdown and admitting that he was the one. Oh, wait, no, first Corey Graves. I fucked that. Yeah, I fucked that up. Corey Graves interrupted after Angle had declared that both the Revival and the Big Show were innocent. Corey Graves interrupts and says that he has some very interesting footage that everybody should see. And on this footage, we see that Cass sets up the scene of him being attacked last week or the week before, I can't remember, and this leads to Cass having his emotional breakdown where he admits that he was the one who attacked Cass. Enzo and Cass are no longer a tag team. They're sworn enemies. I hate Enzo Amore, but I thought he was fucking great in this segment. Dude, he cried. That's some good, that's for wrestling, that's some like fucking Oscar-worthy acting.
Yeah. As much as I don't agree with splitting this team up, I'll take it for what it is. From the actual segment, I thought Big Cass kind of blew me away with how good he was on the mic.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I like the things he said. I like how he said that he was being held back by Enzo. That they never... And I like the fact, and it's interesting that they never won a championship together.
I'm sure as you and I did back in NXT, like they never gave them the titles. I would bitch about it sometimes. Like, man, why won't they're just the NXT, but... Were they like going to save that the whole time for when they would split them up and they could use that?
No,
they think that far.
You're giving them way too much credit. It's adorable. It's nice that you're doing that.
It's adorable. I am a doll baby.
but there's no fucking no. I think they just kind of went like, hey, this happened. They're like, let's use this.
If like you said, we knew that it was going to be Cass. It was obvious. The way that they booked this at the very end of the show, it had to be a babyface turning heel, because if it was just somebody debuting or whatever, they're so mid-level, why would you make that the end? So you knew the split was coming on this segment.
But I thought even if we knew that it was coming, I still enjoyed the execution of it. I thought it was really well done.
I totally agree. I enjoyed the execution. I don't agree with it because looking at the crowd, there were a lot of kids and Enzo and Cass merch in this crowd alone. I think it's asinine to split them up. I still think they were over as shit.
They're one of the most over tag teams in the division. It's interesting that they split them up.
Borderline this era's New Age Outlaws, not on that level yet because the Outlaws got title runs and stuff. But I think maybe they'll get them back together if this ends up being like Crime Time. Hopefully it's not that fucking bad with when they split up.
God, yeah.
I just don't agree with this business-wise, and there's dollar signs that were untapped, by the way.
I think merch-wise, it might have been a mistake because they sell like all those stupid wigs and all that shit. Like they sell a lot of that stuff to kids, but storyline-wise, I am actually interested in Enzo and Cass for the first time since pretty much their debut on the main roster.
Yep. See, that's the thing. That was the flip of it. Now, gimmick-wise and shit, it's good because they were played out as fuck for me already. I loved them in NXT. I don't know about you. Like, they got over with me. So, but by now, they did the KFC commercial, and it's like ever since that, they got that stamp of corporate shit. It's just been watered down feeling and not the same. And I was like, eh.
Plus, I feel the way that Enzo sold it, and even Cass sold his part of the promo, I thought it was fucking great. Like their performance is really what sold it to me.
Yes.
100%. I mean, for anybody who listens to this podcast, I'm quick to talk shit about Enzo Amore any chance I get. But that was Monday Night Raw. Pretty damn good show this week, actually. I thought it started off really strong. It ended really strong. You had some moments there in the middle that were kind of rough to get to. to get through. But overall, much, much better than what we've been getting the past couple weeks.
I totally agree. I saw a bunch of people shitting on this show and some reaction videos and stuff, not even giving me a chance. I'm just like, why? Like, it was solid for a 3-hour show, for a marathon type show. There was nothing a lot wrong with this episode, in my opinion.
No, not really. It was pretty much enjoyable. Like I said, though, a little slow down there in the middle. But, right. I mean, it's a 3-hour show. You got to
It's inevitable, yeah. And the thing is, this show, last week, too, for me, I don't know about you, they both had more of a flow feel to it. They're flowing it better. They're finding something finally.
The last 2 weeks, last week and this week, have been, if it could maintain at least this level every single week, Raw would be a lot easier to get through.
On the Enzo thing, real quick, I don't know if you've seen the rumors that he could be going to 205 Live. That's a big rumor right now. It could be complete bullshit because that makes no sense. Why would they just make him run away to get his heat back? They have to play out this angle, but
yeah, they have
I don't like that. He's not going to fit because those guys can fucking go in ring, and Enzo Amore, as great as he is on the mic, in ring, not so much.
Yeah, Big Cass was the worker in that tag team. But that was Monday Night Raw for this week. We'll be right back with our review / recap / bitching about. That's my new. I think I'm going to use that. I like that. Of SmackDown Live. But before we get there, Eric, go say hi to our friends over at Marking Out.
This is Marking Out.
Hello, it's Brandon
and Dave,
and we do a weekly pro wrestling podcast called Marking Out.
And you can check us out on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and markingout.com.
You guys are awesome.
As always.
Hi! Did you miss us?
Hey.
We're back. Eric and Travis is here from the Hibiki TMD YouTube channel. Go give him some love. His link is in that description box. I don't know why I'm talking all of a sudden like an awkward teenager. But I got to snap out of it or else this show is going to last another 45 minutes.
And I have settled down from R-Truth, guys, I promise.
Damn it. I knew we shouldn't have taken that 3-second
break. Well, not
break.
for long, though, because we're going to talk about SmackDown. Shit.
Not a great show this week, was it, Travis?
No.
All right, so your official results real quick. Big E defeated Jimmy Uso at 5 minutes and 55 seconds via pinfall. Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Dolph Ziggler at 16 minutes and 45 seconds via pinfall. The Kevin Owens Open Challenge, United States of America champion Kevin Owens defeated Chad Gable at 6 minutes and 10 seconds via pinfall. And then in a non-title match, Jinder Mahal defeated Luke Harper at 9 minutes and 40 seconds via pinfall.
Woof.
Woof is right.
9 minutes and 40 seconds. Ugh. Woof.
All right. Let's talk about the female version of the Money in the Bank and the fallout from that match. All right, so we had Carmella and Ellsworth talk, strutting around as Ellsworth demands that the fans appreciate her, which I liked. Ellsworth holds the briefcase for her, and Carmella talks about her name trending on social media and says some people complained about how she won Money in the Bank, and to which she just says, who cares? Perfect attitude, and I agree. And
One of the better parts of this whole show is this promo.
Which is shocking because I don't usually like. That's a really good point. I don't normally like Carmella promos, but this was actually one of the better parts of this show, which gives you an indication of how shitty it was.
Yeah.
This was a pretty solid promo, and playing the points of a heel, being completely justified in her action. It works in this case. Like, you can tell that she gives no fuck. She thinks that what she did is completely fine, and to a certain extent, it is because it's.
Well, I don't know if that's good though that works because there's such boneheaded decision of booking it that way. You don't want your heels to be justified if you want them to be heels. You want your heels to lie and cheat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but she's saying like what I meant by that is like she justified her win, but by justifying it using obviously heel tactics, right?
Right. Oh yeah, and I love how she destroyed the internet trolls. That got a pop from me.
Oh, anytime a wrestler destroys, Twitter version.
Because it's a fucking shoot. They're shooting from the hip with that shit.
They're just like, all right, it's my turn, fuck faces.
Finally, they're gonna let me talk about this.
But this was pretty good. Then we go backstage and Charlotte meets with Bryan, and she wants Daniel Bryan to act. Bryan says that Money in the Bank was a no DQ, but she feels it should only be that for the competitors and wants him to do the right thing. That is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard, and I hated this point. She feels that the disqualification should only be valid for the people who are in the match. What? What?
Where are we? That's where I was. I'm like, where are we right now?
What does that even mean?
Yeah, this was
fucking the dumbest fucking reasoning I've ever fucking heard for anything, ever. We got Big E versus Jimmy Uso. Big meh. Big meh. I mean, they got 5 minutes. What the fuck you want to do in 5 minutes, right?
It was okay.
Then we have Daniel Bryan pretending to talk on the phone with Shane McMahon, and Natalya and Tamina interrupt him. Natalya wishes Bryan a belated Father's Day and talks about her cats for some reason. Tamina then interrupts and wants to know if Daniel Bryan will fix the situation, and Bryan says he will have an official decision soon. Then we had a Naomi interview about the finish of the women's Money in the Bank match. She's not happy about it, but she feels that Bryan will make the right decision, and she'll be ready for anyone. And Lana arrives and says she should have won the Money in the Bank without Carmella's distraction. She would have, won Money in the Bank without Carmella's distraction. Lana wants a rematch for some reason, but Naomi says she won fair and square. But you know what? Fuck it. She then says, go ahead, you get a title shot, because I said no for 1 second, and the next you were like, well, please, and I was like, okay. Like, what was this backstage promo nonsense? Like, Lana comes in, says, I want a rematch. Naomi goes, no, I beat you fair and square. And then Lana's like, no, give me a rematch. And then Naomi was like, you know what, bitch? Okay. Like, that's so
these
weak.
Backstage vignettes came off like they were written by 3 middle-aged women hitting their cycle simultaneously. They were so all over the fucking place, dude. They were awful, man. They were
really bad.
Cringe is not even a word for some of this shit.
Yeah, it was it felt really like it just felt shitty after I watched it.
Daniel Bryan feels like I'm watching Tim Gunn because of all of his shit on Total Divas, Total Bellas. He just feels like this, oh, go girl. Like when he's around Diva, he just comes off as that to me, and that he's not the Daniel Bryan I remember. I'm just saying it.
Well, you know what happens when you become a father? You get all pussified because you worry. Especially if you have a girl, because then you have to worry about all the penises.
I'm a huge fucking pussy myself, man, so I can attest. God, it's something about Daniel Bryan. It's like, Christ, what are you doing?
Yeah, you say you're a pussy, but I still wouldn't want to throw down. You could probably kick my ass.
Yeah, there you go. I probably still wouldn't want to throw down with Daniel Bryan either at the end of the day.
No, neither would I, honestly, even though I am like...
Don't break in his house, at least. He'll put you in a fucking crippler crossface.
Oh, my God, yeah, kill you right there. Then we had another Shinsuke Nakamura versus Dolph Ziggler match, because they haven't ever faced off before. Jesus Christ.
I didn't have a problem with the match taking place. I had a problem with the time it was given and how much Ziggler got in. Like, Shinsuke needs to come off more dominant in these kind of matches. Yeah, he's already beaten Ziggler anyway. What's the fucking point? You know, like,
I don't know. This just felt like a match for the sake of having another match between the two. Didn't really, just let's put Nakamura on the card.
Put it back to 6 minutes. I know a lot of people could say, well, fuck, that's injustice for these two. Well, they gave these two guys time, and it wasn't that fucking great, guys. So I would be okay if it was just Shinsuke pretty much coming off strong in 6 minutes here. It's fine.
Yeah, it wasn't, whatever. It was fine. Then we get Daniel Bryan, who books Sami Zayn against Baron Corbin next week. And then, oh my God, Becky Lynch cuts one of the most, I'm a big fucking crybaby, and this isn't the land of opportunity. I'm just so unlucky. Every time I feel like I work so hard to get to the top, someone else comes and just takes it from. Shut the fuck up.
At least I could understand what you were saying there.
Holy fuck, the most fucking whiny, annoying little bitch promo I've heard in so long. And
She came off like fucking Irish Lacey Green here.
My God, you're so right.
Jesus.
I work so hard, and every time I work hard, someone just takes it away from me because they're cutting corners. So fucking cut corners and shut the fuck up, you retard.
Yep.
I can't stand her. And I've been good the past couple weeks. I haven't gone off on Becky Lynch rants, but she gave me a reason to this week, and I was making tea while this promo was playing, so I couldn't skip it.
How would you book Becky Lynch right now? Would you make her...
I'd fucking book her in Japan so I'd never have to fucking see her again.
No, I'm serious though. you know, if obviously if you're a booker, you don't like all your talent, but sometimes you have to book them. So, you know, obvious reasons aside why you don't like her, how would you book her right now? Would you make her a heel and make her like a Taz type killer? Because she does have the Taz suplexes in her arsenal.
I'd stop making her talk, for one.
Yeah.
Or talk as much. No more stupid puns. No more fucking straight fire in the ring. No more of that, okay? No more steampunk bullshit fucking goggles on your head. None of that. You come out, you fucking kick some ass, and then you leave. You're a lady of very few words because she has a build. The way that Becky Lynch is built, she's kind of built like a brick shit house, right?
Yeah.
She's got that like brr to her, right? So you tell her to hit the gym, lift some heavy weights for a bit, get her a little bit more bulky, a little less feminine, a little more manly, a little more
Beth
square.
Phoenix her up.
Yeah, exactly. And then you turn her into a glamazon, but she won't be as good as Beth Phoenix because she's Becky Lynch. But she wouldn't be a babyface with me. She wouldn't. Because she's a fucking annoying. And she's not funny. And her puns are shit. And her fucking voice is irritating as fuck.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
I've taken some shit before for talking shit about that accent. And how dare you, internet? How dare... I've had people from Ireland on this show. I used to do a show with a girl from Ireland. The accent can be very delightful. It just
It's
really
not the
isn't.
accent.
No,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not.
how it's delivered with mush mouth Becky Lynch.
Like get the fucking shit out of your mouth and form a cohesive sentence. That's something we can understand.
Here's a dad reference to Damien. You do remember mush mouth from the Fat Albert cartoon. Just make that Becky Lynch.
Exactly. That's my Becky Lynch rant. I stand by it.
I agree with everything you said. That's exactly what I do with her too, because it's doing her no favors to have a microphone in her hands right now.
No, like the sad puppy dog wah wah life is so hard character. Who the fuck wants to cheer that on?
You see how that's working out for Bailey right now.
Yeah, that's working
It's
out
a
real
terminal
great.
Bailey.
Real great. Then we had wait, sorry, I'm getting I got a little flustered. I got lost in my notes.
She's your gold dust this week. Or R-Truth, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, you had a rant, you know, on Raw, so I figured I'd cover the slack for SmackDown. Owens says the only reason he didn't win Money in the Bank is because the others conspired against him to take him out and end his career, which is very true. But he's still there, and he's still the United States champion, and still the new face of America.
Are you, in fact, behind the writing the team that's giving him lines? Because that sounds like something you would say to defend him losing it.
Right.
You know?
Right. I'm telling you, they follow me on Twitter and they're fucking stalking me.
Man.
They're checking out my tweets.
I mean, Owens knocks it out of the park every time he's on my TV.
He's the best. He's the best. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And it was funny because then AJ Styles came out and he said, "You're not from fucking Dayton, Ohio, you idiot, AJ Styles. You idiot. You're not from Dayton, Ohio." And then Chad Gable comes out, which is funny because I just tweeted the day before, it'd be nice if they did something with American Alpha. This isn't exactly what I had in mind, but it was nice to see at least one of them. I mean, I guess we saw Jason Jordan very briefly at the beginning, but it was nice to see him. And I liked how he said he had just moved to Dayton, Ohio, like that day or something. I thought that was funny. And so this led to a Kevin Owens Open Challenge match for his United States of America Championship against Chad Gable.
You know, I'm not going to get I'm going to say I really enjoyed this. This reminded me of like NWA when the Steiners were there in like '89 and they would make Scott a single sometimes and give him a chance to shine. And I loved how it was booked. Like Chad Gable, he wasn't squashed, but Kevin Owens.
I felt like it was a little too short. I think I would have liked it maybe 2-3 minutes more. Get a little bit more offense from Kevin Owens. Make him look a little more dominant.
Well, see, that's the thing. I think as a big Owens fan, I was like, yeah, that made Owens look strong as shit. It was a tag team guy also. That's what I was like, well, that's okay. He can beat him in a couple minutes. It gets a pass for me.
Yeah,
I thought the match was okay for what it was. But it was one of my more favorite parts of the show.
Kayfabe-wise, I guess, the fact that he beat him so quickly and the fact that Gable is normally a tag team wrestler, that makes sense. I didn't think of it that way.
And obviously next week, they'll probably make it Jordan and Owens, you know.
Yeah, actually, that would make sense. Yeah.
Which has the potential, honestly, to be a hell of a match.
I agree. I mean, Kevin Owens is in the ring, so it's going to be a hell of a match anyway. But
Jordan is a really underrated guy. He can go.
I agree. He can really go. Then we had the Hype Bros backstage make their case to Daniel Bryan that they are still owed a tag team title shot due to winning a shot in December. Bryan says that if they beat the Usos next week, they'll get a tag team title shot. Whatever. And then here we go. Daniel Bryan pandering to the fucking SJW fucking fans on Twitter. He's here to address the Money in the Bank controversy, and he's glad to be back. He's been in meetings to try and sort out this Money in the Bank mess and notes that he has to stick to the WWE rulebook. He then brings out Charlotte, Becky, Tamina, Natalya, and Carmella, and Bryan says his decision involves them all. And while Money in the Bank is a no DQ match, there is no specific rule to stop Ellsworth from doing what he did. It's the first participant to hold the briefcase wins. But there has never been a situation like this before, putting them in uncharted territory. Now, Ellsworth calls him soft for being a daddy, and for being a daddy to a little hippie, vegan baby that pisses off Bryan, who threatens to punch and fire Ellsworth if he talks about his daughter again.
Real quick, when he delivered that line, that tremendous line, the best part of the segment, by the way, you saw a look on Daniel Bryan's face like, the creative give him that fucking line to say about me. And you could see him kind of taking his anger out on Ellsworth. Yeah. In my mind, that's what I was seeing.
He kind of looked, he kind of did look really pissed, which is pretty fucking funny. It then breaks down into arguing because women. And Bryan says Carmella has to hand over the briefcase, which is bullshit. Next week, they will redo Money in the Bank on SmackDown Live with the 5 ladies competing again. And then the ladies fight because women.
I got to tread lightly on this because I don't want next week them to have a kick-ass fucking match and then I come off like a hypocrite. Because all we really want, my biggest complaint, like we said earlier, was there was nothing to the Money in the Bank match. The finish was fine. Yes, this was total fucking bullshit. There was no rules in the goddamn match. You know what I'm saying? This was total to pander to the...
I'm sorry. Like, no DQ is no fucking DQ.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you make it like no DQ to the people specifically in the match. What? What? Like, what does that mean? So if somebody, I guess, okay, yeah, so I guess if somebody from the outside, I mean, oh, God, I don't know. This whole thing is such a fucking mess.
It is. It was a nightmare from the second it was probably booked backstage with all of them coming up for a finish. If this is the best they could do, wow. But, you know, ever since the match finish played out at Money in the Bank, everyone's been up in arms, obviously. Both sides of the fence. People like you and me that thought it was hilarious that people are so mad about this anyway. And, you know, the other side that are offended that a man would even touch a ladder in the match. For fuck's sake, people. Yeah. It's wrestling.
It's
fucking wrestling.
Yeah.
Do you remember fucking Evan Courageous versus Medusa when she fucking pretty much had sex with him live on TV? You want to be offended? Christ, don't go watch that.
Or don't watch Bubba Ray Dudley fucking powerbomb Mae Young off the fucking stage. Don't watch that. It'll send you the trigger warnings will send you into a fucking coma.
You people are so conflicted on what the fuck you want.
You know what,
you don't even know.
You know
you don't.
You know what bothers me the most about this whole thing is that the only good thing from that Money in the Bank match on Sunday was the heel heat that Carmella gained. And by Tuesday, midway through SmackDown, all that was fucking gone. It's all gone. So you basically had a match on Sunday for fucking no reason. I don't understand this booking. I don't understand the people that are excited about this. I think it's fucking stupid. I'll still watch the match because it's a ladder match. But this is what I'll say. They better fucking put in a whole hell of a lot more fucking work than they did on Sunday. And that's not taking anything away from the ladies, and that's not saying that they don't work hard. But that fucking match was boring as shit. And they have a lot of work ahead of them. Because the only good thing about that match was the finish. And now you take that away. The only way this match will be good, relying on the finish, is if Carmella wins again straight up with no help. That's what needs to happen.
The biggest problem in modern wrestling, and as great as it was at WrestleMania 30, broski, when Daniel Bryan overcame, you know, and he finally won the belts. That was great, and I loved it. But they made a critical mistake as a company. The fans, when they always come out and bitch like that, you can't just be like, our bads, and give them what they want. It's just like raising a child and spoiling them. If my kids act like assholes all day, I'm not going to give them a new fucking toy because then they're going to think that's okay. Now we're at a place where if the fucking fans don't like something, they're going to know that if they bitch enough, they'll get what they want. The thing is, they don't know what the fuck they want. So when they do this, let's say they do it, they're going to put it on Becky Lynch. Okay, then people are going to find a reason to bitch. They put
the perfect example, I completely agree with you, and a perfect example of that is what happened at this past Mania with the women's match. that it was on the pre-show. People fucking had an aneurysm, and then WWE moved it to the main card. And was that match any good? No, it was a pre-show worthy match that you
moved.
And
they took a match that I actually gave a shit about and was good, and Aries and Neville and put it on the show.
Yep, that nobody saw. Instead of seeing the good match, they saw a fucking terrible multi-woman match just because people complained. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because the biggest mistake that WWE has done in the modern era, okay, it's not pushing Roman Reigns. It's not splitting the brands. It's not going to 53 fucking thousand pay-per-views a month. It's letting everyone who listens to this podcast, any other podcast, who watches the fucking show, think that they can sit on their couch and tweet their fucking little heart to their heart's desire, and that's going to actually have an impact. And the problem that they did is that it does have an impact now.
You know what it is? It feels like we're the parents, and WWE as a company are those grandparents, and that the fans go to WWE, and the grandparents spoil the kids, and it pisses off the parents because we had our ground rules. You send back the kids to act like assholes.
Can you imagine in the Attitude Era, people not liking Stone Cold, and being like, "No, we don't like him. Push somebody else," and then they do it, and then we never get the fucking Attitude Era, like it. What happened to WWE being the ones who are driving the car and us being the passengers along for the ride? Sure, they may take a longer way to get to their destination, but they know better, and they're going to give us something that we all like in the end. We're going to get to where we're going. What happened to that? It just feels like there's nobody's driving the car anymore. We're all just looking at it, telling everybody else what they should be doing, and nothing gets accomplished.
The biggest problem also is people don't know how to just sit back anymore and watch a show. We don't need to pull Dave Meltzer's and Brian Alvarez's and analyze every segment. You and I do, because it's, we have podcasts and shit, but like for the everyday casual fucking fan, it's like, I just watch the show. And even as a podcaster with a million fucking shows, I still do that. I'm smart enough to be like, it's not worth getting worked up. I'm paying at the end of the day to watch these. I'm going to fucking enjoy it and take it.
Well, it's like it goes back to what we said last week and how we don't necessarily sit there for 3 hours and watch it in one go.
Yeah.
If you get to a point where you're so angry that you're going to shoot out a bunch of texts, a bunch of tweets or texts, if you have friends in real life, then maybe you should just take a break, go do something else that you enjoy, and then come back, and you'll enjoy the show more.
There's other things, guys, you can do. You know what I'm saying? Like Broski and I, for example, have way too many video games we could be playing instead of just sitting through a bad wrestling show and getting worked up for nothing.
Bunch of video games to play, a bunch of videos to edit. We got more than enough things to occupy our time. Bunch of tweets to send out.
I'm sure, like me, you didn't want this to come off as ranty, but it's frustrating. And this isn't even towards WWE. It's frustrating to watch
it's the entitlement.
Rotten apple. This fan base of wrestling is like the rotten apple, and it labels us as a whole.
It's just a sense of entitlement that comes off from some of these people. That gets to me. Like, you don't fucking deserve anything. WWE doesn't own you shit. Oh, you're
giving them money. That's great, but they don't owe you. It's their fucking company.
Oh, you're subscribed to the network. Oh, and you have a couple of Seth Rollins t-shirts. Oh, and you've been to a show. That's great. Wonderful. Awesome. You don't like what you see anymore? Unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Don't give them your money anymore.
At least let an angle have a chance to play out. I mean, this got 2 days, and they changed it on SmackDown.
Yeah, nothing is allowed to organically breathe anymore. Everything else has to be like fucking Twitter approved.
And that's the thing, the best stuff in wrestling. In the history of wrestling, everything was always organic. Austin, Dusty Rhodes, NWO. All of that shit. NWO was only organic because of how cool they came off as bad guys, by the way. I know that was brought together in an angle as a group, but I mean the organic factor of the first ever real cool bad guys is what I mean by that.
It was meticulously planned, but they took advantage of the time and of people jumping ship. So I mean,
it's not like the
formation of it,
like creating before that, we're setting the world on fire. It's not like the Dungeon of Doom were cool.
No, I mean, and even the formation of it was organic with like I said, people jumping ship. So maybe the NWO itself wasn't something organic and it was something that was planned, but it came from an organic place.
The perfect guys for that. But to this segment, though, to get back on track, this speaks back to what we said earlier. The heels were Carmella was justified. Everything in her mouth was correct. And to just you're making Dana Bryan come off as an asshole fucking boss in a way.
Yep, you are. Like, yeah, there's a no DQ, but we've never done this before, so let's just do it over. I don't know. Why would you even bother bringing up the fact that you have to go by the book? No DQ is no DQ, so she should keep the briefcase. Fuck it. We've never been here before. Start it over. Like, all right, so what was the point of the first one?
And I think now we're going to find ourselves in a place where the crowd next week for that match, you're going to see people behind Carmella in that match, I'm telling you.
I think so, too. Hashtag justice for Carmella. I think we've said our piece on the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I want to move on now. I kind of want to move on from this fucking train wreck of a match. Speaking of not necessarily a train wreck, but from the what file? Non-title match between Jinder Mahal and Luke Harper is your main event. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it sure was.
It sure was. It was all right. It was an average match. I was kind of missing some energy and intensity that Mahal had the night before. Or, sorry, on 2 nights before. But he still came across pretty good. It was nice to have Luke Harper back on TV.
It's always great to see Luke Harper on my TV.
I agree.
I'm a big Harper fan.
So he, Mahal was the victor, but then Randy Orton shows up out of nowhere, and he beats down the Singhs, and then he beats down Mahal. And then Orton sends Mahal over the barricade and follows with a draping DDT on the floor, tosses him back in the ring, and look for the RKO. But the Singh brothers make the save. Orton fights them off, hits the RKO on both of them as Mahal escapes through the crowd, and that ends SmackDown for this week. Not a great SmackDown. I thought Raw was a better overall show. I enjoyed it more. SmackDown, I think it mostly has to do because I was just already over the women's Money in the Bank drama. And that was like a large focus of the show. So most of the show kind of triggered me and made me annoyed. The Kevin Owens stuff was great. We didn't shit all over it, but we weren't blown away. But I thought the Dolph Ziggler Shinsuke Nakamura match was completely serviceable. Main event didn't really do much for me. I was happy to see Luke Harper back on TV, but as far as they just had a match for no fucking reason. And as a main event, you kind of want a little bit more, I guess. But I don't know. I preferred Raw this week to SmackDown. What did you think?
I did too. It seems like ever since the Superstar shakeup, SmackDown's been lackluster for the most part. I don't know. It's just me.
I'm gonna agree with you to the point where I haven't been like, oh damn, that was a really good episode of SmackDown in quite some time, and I feel like before the Superstar shakeup, that was a more common thing. It seems like they're trying to balance out the shows. That's what it seems like to me, is that they're trying to balance things out quality-wise, and I guess they're kind of almost at that sweet spot where we could have 2 decent shows every week, as opposed to one that never ends and one that's kind of pretty good most of the time. Jesus Christ. Listen to the adjectives I'm using to describe what we dedicate so much of our time to.
I know, man. If anybody was hurt, I think the most from that, it's Bray Wyatt, because he really didn't need. He was doing very well on SmackDown, in my opinion. Much more tolerable to watch. And I think him and Shinsuke, while maybe not in your mind it could be a great feud, I think that could be the right guy right now for Shinsuke to be working with, as opposed to being anywhere around the title.
Yeah, that wouldn't bother me. Shinsuke Oh, but he can't because he's on Raw. But no, I agree with what you were saying, that moving to SmackDown, out of everybody that was moved, I think it hurt Bray Wyatt the most, because he finally started to seem to be in a groove on SmackDown. But the House of Horrors match definitely hurt both Orton and Wyatt, and that was a really shitty way to end what was actually a pretty fucking intriguing storyline.
Apparently they're going, I don't know if you saw this, Punjabi prison, by the way.
I saw that. I don't want that. But I mean,
I'm open to it. I don't know if I want it.
I was just about to say, like, the Great Khali won't be in this one, so there is a chance.
That's exactly why I'm open to it, because the only thing we have to compare was Khali was in it. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
You see, my initial was like, oh, Great Khali, but I'm like, oh wait, he won't be in the match. So there's a chance. Yeah, let me amend myself and let me say that I'm open to it, just like you are.
I will say they're probably going to go the route, but like they pussified the Elimination Chamber this year with the pads. They're probably going to dumb down the Punjabi structure a little bit.
Like they put like little rubber balls on the tops of the spikes.
Yeah. But they just put like 8 fucking sticks around the ring, just like normal sticks I find in my backyard. Like, there you go, it's fucking Punjabi.
There's your prison, boys.
Make 80,000 play sets and put it in Toys R Us.
Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah. Get Mattel here.
Get Mattel here.
With their fancy cameras. So, Travis, there we go. Another week, another podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. Didn't have to do it by myself this week, so thank you very much.
The pleasure's all on my end, buddy. Thank you so much for having me, as always.
Where can people find you on the internet and your fucking 50,000 shows?
You can find me doing some things on the internet at the HibikTMD on Twitter. Check out HibikTMD on Facebook. Give it a little love. Nobody else does, so try to give it a boost. I'm not going to go through all my shows again. Just Slam Pigs Podcast and the Reset Button are my two doll baby go-to podcasts and a bunch of spin-offs for Slam Pigs. I also do, I never plug it enough, Let's Plays and sporadic game reviews when I feel like it. And you can find Broski on my NXT TakeOver shows also, if you're a fan of Broski, which you are because this is your show.
I mean, if you're here and you're not a fan of me, I appreciate that too.
If you're here and you're not a fan, you're probably a 17-year-old kid with a abusive father who looks like Tommy Chong is an asshole. You know.
That was oddly specific, Travis. You talking about someone you know?
Couldn't help it.
But no, definitely go give Travis's channel a look. If you want some wrestling content, he's really the only channel you need. Because you got all kinds of classic reviews. You got 205 Live, Raw, SmackDown. Mike is an obnoxious prick, and I love him. I love him for it. Because, I mean, I bond with him over it.
Hey, you know, in all seriousness,
I'm a big fan.
I appreciate the kind words, man. I really do.
I'm a big fan of Maniac Matt, too. And I'm warming up to Logan. I love it when he talks shit about Mike, because that means that Mike is going to talk shit about him.
It's one of the favorite parts of my job is splicing in audio. Like, if Logan's on my show, I'll throw a Michael audio clip. It's fun. It's fun to play DJ for
And
that.
Michael doesn't give a fuck, and that's what I like about him, man. He says some fucking awful shit. You know, I'm tipping my beanie to you, sir. Tell him later when you see him.
I shall.
Well, on my end, I've been slacking with the videos, but today, before I filmed this podcast, I recorded the voiceovers and all the video for Heroes of the Internet. Yes, the video I've been talking about for months is finally coming out. I'm going to try to get it out tonight, even though you won't know that because it'll be out before this podcast. Go check it out if you haven't already. It's going to be really good. It's on a wonderful man known as Ricky Berwick, and I wear 4 T-shirts and 2 hats on it. So, you know, wardrobes. So go watch it. Go like it. Go check out Travis. Go check out his Twitter. And if you're lucky, maybe one day you'll get to join our Twitter DM group.
If you're lucky. If you play your cards right.
It's a good place to be. There's talks of all kinds of wonderful things, of clits being pierced and the piercings being ripped out. And then there's that time that somebody misspelt my name twice in a row, so we turned it into a samurai gimmick. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, Jesus Christ. Shout out to Jim from, what's the channel again? I always forget. I know
our boy Jim at Drink a Beer Play a Game, who has popped in on some of my posters. Maybe Jim could pop up on here. I could totally see you guys having a kick-ass episode with him on.
I think we might have to get Jim on. Yeah, I fucking love talking to Jim. He made a Twitter video for me like last week, and it was wonderful.
I'll throw out an open issue gauntlet, by the way. Challenge here to sweet dear doll baby Robbie to come on the Union Smack someday too, while I'm on your show.
Shit, Robbie, you hear that? Yo, let me get Robbie back on my show before you start inviting him.
I know, I'm just kidding. Get him on yours first. Maybe I'll just bring Matt over here until then.
We'll just swap fucking partners like swingers in the 70s.
We'll swap our little Brits.
And, and on that sexy international note, for Travis, my name is Eric, and this has been the Kayfabe Today podcast. I'm not doing the long outstretched one anymore. I've been smoking this entire time. Peace!
Well, listen everybody, let me tell you about the wrecking